Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is February 1st, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Here you can see BC, Washington, Oregon. Check out the storm system developing here out over the Pacific Ocean. It's going to move up towards Vancouver Island, bring some strong winds all the way from Northern California up through western BC here, including some of the higher terrain across the region here, even some of the island counties here across Northwest Washington, up the Strait of Georgia here as well. But currently looking at things now, you can see the lenticular show going on across the Oregon Cascades, Washington Cascades, and the higher terrain of British Columbia. This morning just continues, been going on for a couple hours now. Been getting the drone up and trying to get some shots of that. But anyway, we will look at the extended forecast here as well. As always, it looks to remain quite active here. We have storm system after storm system lined up here, moving into the Pacific Northwest here. We'll take a look at those one by one here as we go. And this is my drone shot from this morning here. You can see that standing lenticular here in Mount Rainier there. It's been going on for a couple hours, just kind of maintaining itself there. Very interesting, nice show Mount Rainier is putting on this morning. Looking at current hazards, you can see there is some high wind watches and wind advisories going on as the storm system approaches tomorrow. We may include some other areas up towards Oregon, Washington tomorrow as well as the system moves in through Thursday and Friday. But out here across Montana, we have some winter weather advisories still ongoing here. And there might have been a little bit of light snowfall, mainly through southwest BC this morning. That should be coming to an end on the day today. And this is out for Medford, Oregon here, gusty winds Thursday, just kind of highlighting some of the strong winds for the South Oregon coast, some of the higher terrain, Ashland, Summer Lake. Isolated power outages are possible there. Nice graphic here from the National Weather Service, Medford, Oregon. This is for Pendleton, Oregon here, the higher terrain, gusts 45, 55 miles per hour out there. And you can see have travel plans, wind driving tips. You guys know the drill out there. And this could all be down to some of the valley areas as well. But again, the higher terrains are going to be the hardest hit there. So a good graphic there from Pendleton National Weather Service. Now, this is hot off the presses running right now. The 12Z European run, 12Z Zulu time or UTC. That means 4 a.m. Pacific time, as at least this point of the year right now. Now we put this into motion here. And you can see that storm system approach here, frontal system moving through the area, bring some nice mountain snow across Vancouver Island, the Olympics, Cascades up into BC here, even across the Rockies here as we go. Another frontal system hot on its heels there as we go on in through Sunday. This one's got a pretty good gradient across the Oregon coast. There might be some pretty strong winds with that one. We'll watch the track of the storm system as well. If this trend's stronger, then that track's going to move a little further north and could include some portions of Washington as well. But you can see nice mountain snows here for a lot of the west coast here, Cascades of Washington, Oregon, BC, Rocky Mountains getting a good shot. Spokane could get in that action as well as we go on in through Sunday. Again, depending on this low pressure system track, it'll make all the difference on what kind of lower elevation snow you can get across eastern Oregon and Washington here as we go on in through this weekend. And then another storm system, potentially an atmospheric river, moving in through early next week. So we got them lined up, folks, one storm after another, including a fairly strong one off through the extended. Now, taking a look here, this is a wider view of things. Hawaiian Islands down here is Pacific Ocean, Washington, Oregon, BC there. Put into motion, and you can see that storm system move up towards Vancouver Island. Another front hot on its heels there. That system moving across the Oregon coast, and then an atmospheric river type system off through the extended a little bit on into early next week shown here. So we'll watch these systems as we go day by day, but it looks like it's going to be pretty active here through the 10-day period across the Pacific Northwest. This is looking at the jet stream at 39,000 feet. Here's Japan, here's Hawaii, there's Washington, Alaska there. Put it into motion. You can see that strong jet, typical of La Nina conditions here off the coast of Asia, off in through the western Pacific, shown there. That's kind of a hallmark there of La Nina conditions. That stronger jet there. El Nino tends to favor a stronger jet stream closer to the North American coastline there, I should say, as you get more of a gradient, the warmer water here, cooler air up to the north. Across the polar areas there, and then you get a stronger jet stream pointed at California. That's why California tends to be a little bit wetter than normal here during El Nino conditions. But anyway, you can see as we go on into early next week, we may bring some stronger systems towards the west coast of BC as well as this jet stream tries to reach out across the Pacific here. So we'll continue to watch that as we go day by day. Now looking at this, you can see the storm system approaching here. There's the frontal system Oregon, Washington, BC here, pretty strong low moving into north tip of Vancouver Island. And you can see the stronger winds kind of across the northwest interior Strait of Georgia here, some of the higher terrain across Oregon, especially Oregon, Washington coast, Vancouver Island as we go. Another frontal system hot on its heels with potentially another strong storm moving across the region here on Sunday as well. Some pretty good winds would come across the Oregon coast in such a scenario there. And then another system, potentially an atmospheric river as we go on in through early next week. We'll continue to watch those day by day. 10-meter accumulated max wind gust. You'll notice that Seattle and Portland are not looking too windy right now, but the immediate coastlines are, and some of the higher terrain is. So watch out for that as we go on in through early next week. So no big windstorms in our sights just now for the lowland, the big metro areas right now, but some strong winds could occur across the island counties, Whidbey Island, the San Juans up there, and some of the places on the west coast of BC here up through the Strait of Georgia. Now taking a look here a little bit closer here, but then in Washington, you see Seattle to 31, Portland probably into the 20s there as well. So Whidbey Island could get some gusts up towards 50 miles per hour with this system as it goes on in through Friday, shown here. Now, taking a look here, Vancouver, this is this morning. There might have been a few snow showers up there. Should not have been a big deal. I didn't see much about it on Twitter out there this morning. This was Bellingham, just kind of the same thing there. It looks like that's coming to an end, so no big deal there. Quileute Airport here. Check out this system. Pretty darn rainy here. The control calling for almost 2 inches there on the Washington coastline. This goes out through February 6th, shown here. This is Quileute wind speeds here. Take a look at this. Look at that. Some of these ensemble runs, the mean is up towards 50. A lot of these are up in the 50s, some of the high 50s as well. So pretty good blow coming to the Washington coast and the Vancouver Island coastline here. And some of the Oregon coast can get breezy as well, as you saw as we go on in through. This would be about on the day Friday, shown here. This is Seattle. A couple bumps here as we go through the weekend here as we get this system. Then another frontal system on the heels of that. Not exceptionally rainy, but you are going to notice the rainy days coming up here as we go on in through Saturday, and then picking up again as we go on in through Sunday afternoon. Seattle, you can see the winds not too bad, probably just some gusts up into the 30s, just a blustery frontal system moving through on the day Friday. This is looking at total precipitation across Pacific Northwest here. Put this into motion here, and you can see that ongoing precipitation. Here comes the next storm there. You can start to impact the coastal areas there, bring some rain for Seattle, Portland. But again, the higher terrain are going to be the winners with these first couple of storms here. Continue this on out here through the 10-day period. And you can see some pretty good precipitation across much of the Pacific Northwest coming up here. Typical rain-shadowed areas across eastern BC, eastern Washington, some of eastern Oregon as well. But look at Vancouver Island, get some really big totals here. Western BC, some of the Cascades making out pretty well here in the 10-day period also. Now, this is looking at yesterday's run. We're comparing the European versus the GFS of yesterday. This is 18,000 feet, 500 millibars there. That's that storm system we've been dealing with. Now the next one starts to arrive here. It moves towards Vancouver Island. And we got one hot on the heels of that. And then yet another one, potential atmospheric river, not too strong here. We'll take a look at that in a little more detail in a minute. But we've got some strong systems continuing to impact the Pacific Northwest here all the way through the 10-day period here on the European. And I wasn't paying too much attention to the GFS here, so let's let that one run through here as well. There goes the first system. Next system on its heels here as we go through the weekend there. Bit more of a ridge here you can see on the GFS there, and then a system swings through finally mid next week also there. But you can see the GFS clearly has some more ridging here as we go on in through later this week and on in through early and mid this week. We'll continue to watch that and see what kind of agreement these models come to, though, as we go on into the next couple of days. This is atmospheric river scale. This is European ensemble mean here. You can see some AR2 levels here along the Washington, Oregon coast, even on the BC coast, uptrended a little bit here from yesterday. So should be mostly beneficial right now. We shouldn't be dealing with any major flood concerns from these systems coming in just yet. But again, we'll watch them as we go day by day to see if anything changes. Right now, you can see the avalanche danger is moderate still across some of the west slopes of the Cascades here, down through Oregon and out towards Montana and Idaho as well. I would watch out in any of these areas here across western Montana and the Idaho Panhandle as well. Avalanche danger can still be fairly high here. I don't know why. Maybe they're taking observations anyway, or they just have general information and they've downgraded everything. But anyway, click on this site here, avalanche.org, if you're going out into the backcountry. So this was put out yesterday as well. Monthly temperature outlook for February, issued January 31st. You can see the west coast here kind of below average there. So, maybe we'll get one more chance at some lowland snowfall here across Pacific Northwest. No promises, and nothing looks looming even in Fantasyland as of right now. This is monthly precipitation forecast here. You can see the above average signal across some of the Pacific Northwest here. So, it's something. But yeah, anyway, if you get a chance, I mean, if this is still going on out here, lenticular cloud show, and you have a good view of the mountains out there, get out and get some pictures, send them to me on Twitter, Seattle Weather Guy out, let me know what you're seeing out there. So anyway, yeah, we're going to be active here, though, through the 10-day period. As you saw, we have storm system after storm system lined up here for the Pacific Northwest. Some nice mountain snows coming. We have some high wind chances mainly on the coast and the higher terrain. Nothing looks big right here for the Seattle or the Puget Sound Metro or down into the Willamette Valley here as of right now, but we'll watch that day by day. But anyway, yeah, so I did just a Pacific Northwest video here today. I'll probably do a California one here in a few moments as well and highlight some of the impacts they're going to be getting from this these storm systems as they move into the area anyway. So yeah, get out there, take some pictures today, enjoy that weather, and then watch this storm roll in as we go on in through tomorrow and Friday. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.